Hello lovelies, welcome back to the channel. I am all wrapped up in a blanket because it is chilly tonight, so I am just being cozy. And since I was being cozy, I thought maybe it would be a good idea to get our spook on. Have a bit of spooky fun on the channel. I always wanted to do creepypasta readings, and I actually wanted to start a creepypasta channel, and I made it and everything, and it has a name. And then I found out that at some point the creepypasta website was like, basically if you're a YouTuber, you're not allowed to read out our stories, and I was like, okay, so there goes that dream. But what we can read out here today, I was thinking, is 2-sentence horror stories, because one of those came up on my Twitter today, and I remembered I used to love those. I really enjoy just short, simple things that make you like shiver. So I thought it would be maybe fun to read some of those today. So I'm kind of thinking I might even turn off the big light and like get some mood light going, get extra spooky. I'll try that out. We'll see how it looks. Hold on. I think that's suitably spooky. Okay. Let me know if you guys like this or if you'd rather just have videos normally lit regardless of the content. But I thought we'd do something a bit different. Okay, so let's start reading. There was a picture in my phone of me sleeping. I live alone. Can you actually imagine though, like if you woke up in the morning and like you wanted to send like a picture of something to one of your friends and you open up your pictures and you like no one else should be in your house and there's just like a picture of you sleeping on there? I would move. That would be me gone. Like that is horrifying. My sister says that mommy killed her. Mommy says that I don't have a sister. That raises a lot of questions, doesn't it? This is like one of my old favorites. I remember this from the Tumblr days. You hear your mom calling you into the kitchen. As you head down the stairs, you hear a whisper from the closet saying, "Don't go down there, honey. I heard it too." I've actually got goosebumps right now from that. That kind of thing always gets me. Like whenever like you hear like, you know, like your friend or like, you know, something like that, blah, blah, blah. And then something happens that's like, oh my god, that is not the person you think it is. Like one of my favorite creepypastas had that kind of theme. I can't remember what it was called, but I remember like the bit that actually got me like just like in shivers was like, I think like two friends tried to do something spooky that they shouldn't have. Not a Ouija board, but something like that. And then like his friend comes over that night or something to stay over with him, and his friend comes straight in and he's being really weird and he just lies down and goes to sleep like facing the wall or whatever, and you know the friend's like, oh whatever. And then like an hour later with like his friend still sleeping there, he gets a text from his friend saying like, oh sorry I couldn't come over, you know, this thing happened, I couldn't make it. And that's the moment where like my blood runs cold. It's like, what is the thing that is sleeping there that is supposed to be his friend? I love that kind of thing. I don't know what I'd do in that situation though. Like if you heard your mom calling you downstairs but in the closet was like, don't go down, I'd be like, I don't trust either of these. I'm going to jump out the window. I think it would be the only solution. The last thing I saw was my alarm clock flashing 12:07 before she pushed her long rotting nails through my chest, her other hand muffling my screams. I sat bolt upright, relieved it was only a dream. But as I saw my alarm clock read 12:06, I heard my closet door creak open. I can't move, breathe, speak or hear, and it's so dark all the time. If I knew it would have been this lonely, I would have been cremated instead. Being buried alive would be one of my like big fears. I assume that person isn't supposed to be alive, but you know, just for the sake of relatability, being buried alive is one of my biggest fears. I am very claustrophobic when it comes to being trapped anywhere. I awoke to the sound of the baby monitor crackling with a voice comforting my firstborn child. As I adjusted to a new position, my arm brushed against my wife sleeping next to me. I'm sorry, firstborn child. I am leaping out the window and leaving you behind. And this is why I shouldn't have kids. I couldn't be trusted in one of these situations to do the right thing. After struggling desperately to move any part of his paralytic body just to alert the doctors that he was conscious before they made the first incision, he was relieved to see that one of the nurses had noticed his pupils dilating from the bright light. She leaned in close and in a whisper that tickled his ear said, "You think we don't know you're awake?" My daughter won't stop crying and screaming in the middle of the night. I visit her grave and ask her to stop, but it doesn't help. I wake up and everything feels wrong. It's too quiet outside. I look out the window and see everyone standing still, looking at my house. Oh no. Ooh, that was a goosebumpy one. God, in that situation, jumping out the window won't even help. Oh, I'd love like a longer version of that. Like I know its charm comes from it being so short, but I can't like, I want more. I think I'm gonna be listening to some creepypastas tonight. This has got me in the mood. The doctors told the amputee he might experience a phantom limb from time to time. Nobody prepared him for the moments though when he felt cold fingers brush across his phantom hand. Growing up with cats and dogs, I got used to the sounds of scratching at my door while I slept. Now that I live alone, it is much more unsettling. quick story time. Not long after we got Sebastian, when I really still wasn't used to having something roaming through my house in the night, he must have gotten like the zoomies, you know, very hyper in the middle of the night, and it was about 3 a.m. And he must have been like sprinting up and down the stairs, but he's a heavy cat, and just the way he was running, it sounded like a demonic ghost toddler sprinting up and down the stairs. And let me tell you, I nearly had a fucking heart attack. It was the scariest sound. Would it, like, for the moment that my brain didn't think, I guess we have a cat now, those like sprinty fast footsteps up the stairs, I was like, no, I'm about to die. Working the night shift alone tonight, there was a face in the cellar staring at the security camera. I quit. I would quit my job and I would go home. I woke up to hear knocking on the glass. At first I thought it was the window until I heard it come from the mirror again. No, have you guys seen the movie Mirrors? That, I don't know if it was held up. In my memory it's still very good because I watched it when I was younger, and I remember that movie, freaking me out for the longest time. I was like so uncomfortable near any reflective surfaces. I was just, After working a hard day, I came home to see my girlfriend cradling our child. I didn't know which was more frightening, seeing my dead girlfriend and stillborn child, or knowing that someone broke into my apartment to place them there. Oh, that's one of those things, you know, like, it's not at all real, but it's like, can you actually fucking imagine if you came home to that scenario? I can't sleep, she whispered, crawling into bed with me. I woke up cold, clutching the dress she was buried in. You know that weird full body twitch you get sometimes when you're falling asleep? If there was a camera pointed at you, and you saw what it had captured at that moment, you would never sleep again. The grinning face stared at me from the darkness beyond my bedroom window. I live on the 14th floor. That's a whole new realm of horror. Whenever I was a kid, like, I grew up in a flat, like in an apartment, and I used to hate being in my friends' houses at nights, like, you know, on the ground floor, because I always had this fear that I was going to turn around and look at the window and there would just be like a face staring in at me. That was honestly such a fear for me as a kid. I felt so uncomfortable around windows at night. And you know, I thought rooms being upstairs protected me from that fear, but look at that. A whole new one. Sleep did not come to me easily that night in the cabin in the woods, for the portraits on the wall only portrayed the deformed, the decrepit, and the damned. Sleep has never come easily to me ever again, for when I woke I found no portraits, only windows. I always thought my cat had a staring problem. She always seemed fixated on my face. Until one day, when I realized that she was always looking just behind me. Sebastian does that sometimes. There's a specific spot in the bedroom, right above where I sleep, that sometimes he just gets very interested in, and I don't appreciate it. After so many years living alone in this large house, I came to a startling revelation. In this time I had closed far more doors than I had opened. It's been watching me for hours now. Sometimes I catch glimpses of its reflection on the computer screen, but I dare not turn around. Oh, that one got me. That one got me so good. Oh, that's always my thing, like sometimes I'll be like lying in bed at night and I'll be imagining like horror scenarios, and I'll get like far too active with it and start to like really freak myself out. And I like, you know, get this idea of like something standing in the doorway, but I'm like too afraid to look because I feel like the second you look, like that's when it'll get you. So I'm like, if I just don't look at it, then it won't come for me. But then I kind of get less scared because I imagine this thing like waiting in the doorway for me to look at it, and I'm not, and it's like... The operation wasn't successful in the traditional sense, since my sight didn't return, but it left me with the ability to distinguish heat signatures at least. 3 weeks have passed and I'm still not sure how to politely ask my best friend why he's room temperature. You start to drift off into a comfortable sleep when you hear your name being whispered. You live alone. I know I've played this card a lot, but I think I'm gonna jump out the window, Bob. You get home tired after a long day's work and ready for a relaxing night alone. You reach for the light switch, but another hand is already there. Don't be scared of the monsters, just look for them. Look to your left, to your right, under your bed, behind your dresser, in your closet, but never look up. She hates being seen. Now, you know whenever I said that the cat fixates on the spot right above my bed? Not helping. When next you're completely alone, imagine you are listening to a sound of some kind. When that sound seems to stop, you'll know that you've been noticed. I don't know what that means, but it has upset me. Ready to settle down for the evening, I put my headphones on. The whispering coming from them startled me. They were not plugged in. Yeet the headphones. The dead are watching us now. That's the good news. Excuse me? What the fuck do you mean that's the good news? Well, we actually came to the end there, and my camera just turned off because I'd apparently been recording for too long. So I guess that is a good way to tell that is the end of this video. I enjoyed sitting here getting spooked. Maybe you didn't, maybe I'm just very easily spooked because I leave myself open to it because I love letting myself get all spooked by that kind of thing. But I did enjoy this. Let me know what you thought of short scary story time. Let me know if you'd want something like this again in the future. Before I do my usual little sign off, I am actually going to say, before all the other stuff, if you could support me on Patreon, I would very much appreciate that, because at this time of year it is much more difficult to get by on YouTube, so I would love it if some of you guys could check out my Patreon, consider subscribing to it, you know, just help a gal out. So as always, do leave a comment and let me know what you thought of this. Was it spooky? Let me know which one your favorite one was. I would love to know. Let me know what kind of thing gives you the shivers or the goosebumps, because I know like different people have different things. For me, it's definitely the kind of things where like someone that you're close to turns out not to be the someone, you know what I mean? That kind of thing always gets me. Oof. If you're new here and you enjoyed spooky time, do consider subscribing, because we would love to have you as part of the goofy little family. And I don't know if I said it or not, but as always, if you enjoyed this, give it a little thumbs up. I'd very much appreciate that. As I said, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, lovelies.